right, second grade, today we are going to be making flowers out of clay. So what you're going to need to do first is pick two shapes to make your flower out of. So what you need to do, I'll section these off so you can kind of understand a little bit more. You need to pick one large shape and one small shape. So I could pick this flower shape and then maybe this flower shape to go inside, or I could pick this flower shape with maybe a square shape to go inside. So it's up to you. You get to pick which shape you would like. If you pick a heart, that's fine, but try to pick a flower looking shape to go inside because we do want these to look like flowers. So if I picked a heart, I probably wouldn't pick a square or a triangle to go inside because we don't want them to just look like shapes. We want them to look like flowers. And I like the shape of the heart, but we want to add a flower shape on top of it as well. With these that look a little bit more like flowers, you can add the flower shapes on top. Now, you can see that some of these are cookie cutters and some of these are just traces, just stencils that you trace. So I'll show you how we use those. So I think maybe I'll pick this shape and, you know, I've changed my mind. I think, oh, I didn't realize I had two of these out. I think maybe I'll pick this shape and this shape. Okay, so I'm gonna set these other ones aside. So you're going to be given a slab of clay like this. A slab of clay is what we call a thin, flat piece of clay. Then you can use your two shapes to cut them out of this. Now a cookie cutter, you can just press the shape down and the shape will come out, right? But with these, you need to trace around it, which is a little bit more difficult. I use these needle tools. The end is sharp, but the rest of it isn't. Now there's also knife tools that you could use, but I like these needle tools because it's much easier to go around sharp little corners. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna press it down, all the way down until you hit the table or the canvas where you can't go any further, and you're just gonna very carefully go around the edge of your flower. Okay, then you can just pull it off, and there's your flower. So now we need to add some details to our flowers. First thing I like to do is I just kind of like to smooth out those little edges to make sure they look super nice and neat. And there's no messy edges. Then we have so many tools that you can use to make your patterns and texture on your flowers. So you can see I'm just kind of setting this on there without slipping and scoring first so I can kind of give an idea of where I need to put my textures, but I don't have to leave it on there while I'm adding my textures. Now we have so many different tools that we can use to add textures onto our clay. So let me, before I do it on my actual flower, I'm going to show you some ideas on these just extra pieces of clay first. So I have this little square block. It's a long rectangular block, but the end of it is square. I can press squares into my shapes. I can press just the edges of it in and make little tiny triangles. So there's some squares, there's some triangles to make cool shapes. We have these kind of wire tools. So this side has a circle, this side has a little triangle, but you can do the same thing where you press the whole side down and you can make little lines or shapes like that, or you could press little corners of it down to make little triangle shapes like this. I have wooden tools where you can press little circles in of different sizes. I have a bigger one here to make bigger circles. I have straws where you can make even smaller circles. There's fork tools, and you can make all kinds of, here I'll do it on this one, you can make all kinds of designs with fork tools. You can make just scratches, you can do dots, you can do wiggles, right? Or you can take your needle tool by itself and you can scratch in any kind of design you want, right? So you can get pretty creative with how you're going to make some cool designs. So I'm going to set that stuff back off to the side and bring my flowers back out here. And I'm going to try to come up with some cool stuff to make. So I think I'm going to use the end of this and maybe press it towards the ends of each of my petals on my flowers. That looks pretty cool. Then maybe I want to add some little spirals on every other little zigzag. Then maybe some small little circles. Maybe I'll work on my small flower now. Maybe on my small flower with my straw, maybe I want to add a little clump of circles in the center with wavy line. That goes along the edge. I'm making it up as I go, my friends, and I'm setting it back on there to see how much space I still have. I think I can add one more little element of something. Oh, I didn't even, kind of forgot about my little marker cap. I could use my marker cap and go all the way around. That looks pretty cool. Okay, so now, once I've decided, oops, these aren't, you can't really see these. Let's go a little bit further out. There you go. So once I've decided I like my design, I take out my slip. Now remember, slip is just clay with water added to it, so it's kind of some watery clay. Then I'm going to pick up my smaller flower and I'm going to scratch up the back either with my needle tool or my fork tool. Scratch it up and then scratch up where you're going to put it. And then you're just going to scoop a little bit of slip onto the back. Now think of slip like glue. You want enough for it to stick, but not so much that it's going to ooze out. So if you can see, I didn't put it super close to the edges in hopes that it won't ooze everywhere. Now you want to kind of smush it down a little bit so you really get it on there without pressing so hard that you're going to smush your top flower or you're going to ruin any of those really cool designs that you made. So this is what we're doing today. We're making our really awesome flowers with 2 layers. So they're kind of 3-dimensional flowers. We have our bottom layer and then our top layer. I can't wait to see what kind of shapes you pick and what kind of designs you add to your flowers. Let's get started.